I am Erica May Morales. Today I will be discussing the topic entitled Demand for Money. As we finish the lesson, you are expected to be able to first, discuss what is demand for money. Second, explain the different types of demand for money. And third, describe the role of demand for money in the economy. My discussion will be divided into 3 parts. On the first part, it is all about the definition of demand for money. On the second part, we will tackle the different types of demand for money. And on the third part, we will describe the role of demand for money in the economy. Before we move on to the discussion, let us first test your prior knowledge regarding the topic using a motivational drill which I entitled Look a Word. I prepare here a word puzzle. Your role is to encircle the word that you think is related to demand for money. Be guided by the question, why people wish to hold money? What are the ways to hold money? And lastly, what are the determinants of demand for money? You can check your answer if you got a correct answer after the discussion.
5, 4, 3, 2.
If you think I flashed the drill fast, don't worry because I provided a template with this presentation and all you need to do is to just check it out on our Google Classroom. Thank you for your participation with our motivational drill. As this time, we will now move on to our discussion. We consider money as a liquid asset used in the settlement of transaction. We, individual, has the desire of holding financial asset in the form of money, which is called demand for money. Furthermore, demand for money refers to how much asset individual wish to hold in the form of money, and sometimes it is referred to as liquidity preference. The demand for money is related to income, interest rates, and whether people prepare to hold cash or a liquid asset for money. I have here a graph that shows the demand for money is inversely related to the interest rate. 1. At a high interest rate, people prepare to hold bonds. 2. When the interest rate falls, holding bonds gives a lower return, so people prepare to hold cash. Now let us move on with the 3 types of demand for money and its motives. Keynes suggested 3 types which lead to the demand for money in the economy. Let us first discuss transaction demand. When we say transaction demand, it is money needed to buy goods and services. The transaction demand for money arises from the medium of exchange function of money in making regular payments for goods and services, also known as day-to-day purchase. According to Keynes, it relates to the need of cash for the current transaction of a personal and business exchange. When you carry money in your wallet to buy a movie ticket or maintain a checking account balance so you can purchase groceries later in the month, you are holding the money as part of your transaction demand for money. It is further divided into income and business motives. The income motive is meant to bridge the interval between the receipt of income and its disbursement. For this purpose, money kept by the people depends on the following purposes: the size of income, second is the nature of transaction, and third, the time gap between received income and the expenditure. Money held for this motive depends upon the level of income of an individual. For example, a poor man will hold less money from transaction demand as he spends less money because of his small income. On the other hand, a rich man will tend to hold more money for transaction demand as his expenditure will be relatively greater. Similarly, the business motive is meant to bridge the interval between the time of incurring business's costs and that of the receipt of the sale proceeds. If the time between the incurring of expenditure and the receipt of income is small, less cash will be held by the people for current transaction and vice versa. There will, however, be changes in the transaction demand for money depending upon the expectation of income received and businessmen. The second type of demand for money is precautionary demand. In a simple word, it is the money we need to hold for our financial emergency. It relates to the desire to provide for contingencies requiring sudden expenditure and for unforeseen opportunities of advantageous purchase. Both individuals and businessmen keep cash in reserve to meet unexpected needs. Individuals hold some cash to provide for illness, accident, unemployment, and other unforeseen contingencies. Similarly, businessmen keep cash in reserve to tide over unfavorable conditions or to gain from unexpected deals. Therefore, money held under the precautionary demand is rather like water kept in reserve in a water tank. Our precautionary demand for money depends upon the level of income in a business activity, opportunity for unexpected profitable deals, and many more. Lastly, asset or speculative demand is when people wish to hold money rather than buy asset, bonds, or risky investment. The speculative or the asset demand for money is for securing profit from knowing better than the market what the future will bring forth. Individual and businessmen having funds after keeping enough for transaction or precautionary purposes like to make a speculative gain by investing in bonds. Money held for speculative purposes is a liquid stone of value or what we call wealth, which can be invested on an opportune moment in interest-bearing funds or securities. Our speculative demands for holding money or other assets is derived by our future expectation of inflation, interest rates, and market returns. The asset motive states that the people demand money as a way to hold wealth. In a period of inflation, the value of money declines and therefore there is unlikely to be an asset motive for money. However, in a period of deflation, money increases in value and therefore there may be a significant asset motive for demanding money. Asset motive can be explained using portfolio motive. The portfolio motive is another way of considering the asset motive developed by James Tobin. It states that the people chooses between cash money and a risky investment. Now that we already finished discussing the different types and motives, we will now move on to the role of demands for money in the economy. First, medium of exchange. We people demand for money to pay exchange for all other goods and services. Second, it promotes investment. Change in the interest rate affects the willingness of actors to invest and to consume, which can therefore change demand for money. Third, it promotes economic development. Rapid economic development can be achieved in stepping up the rate of investment of capital formation. When the demand of money is stable, monetary policy can help to stabilize the economy. However, when the demand for money is not stable, real and nominal interest rate will change. There will be an economic fluctuation. Fourth, function as measurement of value. As we people demand for money, we also measure the value of goods by the money we pay, which makes economic calculation easy. Lastly, it functions as store of value and a standard of deferred payments. We people hold wealth to pay taxes that increases the economic growth. In summary, demand for money is the total amount of money that population of an economy wants to hold. The different types of demand for money are transaction demand, precautionary demand, and speculative demand that helps the growth of economy. This demand for money has a role in the economy such as a medium of exchange. It promotes investment, it promotes economic development, it functions as the measurement of values, and function as store of value and standard of deferred payments. That ends my discussion. I hope you learned something. Thank you for listening. Keep safe everyone. God bless. Bye!